Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. We've got a review coming in the morning, or we should have anyway. We were scheduled to be doing a review after the game, but I took the decision to delay it because, as I'm sure you've all seen before, I'm not always the best. I'm not a good loser, so I thought I'd let the dust settle a little bit before, just to save me blowing me top on screen, really. Um, but what I will do is I will give me thoughts on the game and the situation at West Ham. Just a quick reaction, if you like. Well, now I've had a time to kind of settle down and look at things rationally. And uh, I was disappointed with the way that we set up today. I've seen a phrase bouncing about on Twitter today, and that was that we played the name and not the team today. That's kind of how we set up. We was fearful again. This is a Man United team. They're not good. As per our review, they're there to be got at. And I just don't think we did that. The first half was as bad as we've been. I mean, we did do a good job defensively. We did, but you know, uh, people are having a go at Fornals, but Fornals was doubling up as a fullback to cover Cresswell. Antonio had a nightmare game, but he's up again. He's on his own. He's got no support. We're hoofing these big, long, sort of hopeful balls into no man's land. He's got Maguire and Varane that he's going up against. It was never going to work. But he did have a bad game. There weren't many players that had good games. Sufal was awful. Yeah, he really was. Fredericks obviously was at fault when he came on for their goal, but at that point, Man United had thrown caution to the wind and they'd put loads of attackers on, and they were the team that were going for the win. We weren't. We never were. We set up for a draw. And how often does that ever work? It never works. So I was really frustrated. Again, we had no game changers, did we? On the bench, the squad is still thin. It was great to see Zuma back, and he had quite a good game considering he's been out for so long. Cresswell, you saw in the first half, he was. Well, I think it was because Fornals wasn't going up with him, so he was almost when he was going forward, he was expected to sort of take someone on, take a fullback on for pace. He hasn't got the pace, and he was getting exposed. I thought Bowen played well. Fornals looked lost. Like I say, Sufal had a nightmare. Dawson didn't play well. He had that awful mistake at the start of the game, which we should have been punished for, but we weren't. And his general passing, yeah, he does his usual blocks that he always does, but then he'll get the ball, he'll win it, and he'll just fucking just hoof the ball. And they're not long passes, they're just hoofs, hopeful hoofs. Sufal does the same thing. I think he's kind of been sussed out now. Who's the bloke who was on him, the winger? I can't remember his name now, but basically Sufal doesn't like being under pressure, and he was almost being marked by the winger, so that he had no time to think. It looked like he was being targeted. That's what it looked like to me. And he had another bad game. So for me, obviously Johnson came on. That didn't go particularly well. Not Johnson, Fredericks. I think that now's the time probably to bring Johnson in. But most of all, what we need, we do need signings, and I hate to sound like a scratch record, but we need new players. We do. We need to freshen things up. And Moyes has got to go out and do that because if you look at all the teams that are closing in on us, I mean, Villa are only sort of 2 or 3 wins away from sort of being right on our tail. Wolves are not far behind us now, and they've got games in hand. If they win, then they're in front of us. There's a lot of pressure on the Watford game coming up now. If we don't win that, um, the run beyond that is not nice. You've got some really tough games coming up. So Moyes is going to have to go out and do something. And what I would like from Moyes, I understand what he says in the media when he comes out with the same old statements. He's telling the truth. That's fine, but he's needs to be more positive. We know he's going to make signings. He is because he has to. But what he does is it's like he's trying to sort of align our expectations all the time and play it down and play it down. He hasn't got to name names. He hasn't got a name drop, but give us a bit of hope. So just say in that instance there, in a post-match interview, say, look, we know we need players. We do. We're actively trying to get them. We're confident that we're going to get these players in. It will happen. So don't worry, we are going to get players in. That sort of message. But to come out and then say things like, well, in an ideal world would get a striker, but we've been trying for 2 years and you've got to wait for the right player to come up. And when he says things like that, it just enrages people. And that's, it's been all over Twitter today. And I don't subscribe to Moyes out. I think you can't discount what Moyes has done up to this point. It's been amazing. But he's got to be careful that you can regress in the blink of an eye. You can go backwards. You've only got to look at the other teams around us that are reinforcing. Look at the business that Villa have done. They're picking up form. Like I say, Wolves are creeping up. I mean, if Brighton, heaven forbid, go and get a striker, someone that can hit the back of the net, they're gonna be a bit of a force because they're a good footballing team. So, if we want to exist where we are and keep on competing at the top, we have to make signings. If we don't do that, Declan Rice has been pivotal to David Moyes' overachievement, because we all accept David Moyes has overachieved. But a big part of that has been Declan Rice. He's just got better and better each year, and we've had a world-class player. Well, take him out of the team today. I mean, his stats were obscene. He was carrying that team today, as he often does in most games. And he's that important. And do you know what? If we show no ambition in that January transfer window, we've got no bargaining chips with Rice in the summer. There is nothing that Moyes can say to Declan Rice to convince him to stay. We're thin on the ground at the moment because we didn't invest properly in the summer. So we've still got those glaring gaps. We've still got a paper-thin squad. We're thin because we didn't invest in the summer. We've wasted 3 weeks of the January transfer window, and we've lost 2 games. The Leeds one, that still hurts. But the Man United game today, they were there to be got at. They really were. We defensively they've not been good. They're shocking, and Harry Maguire. He's come out of that game looking like Franco Baresi because we just weren't putting him under any pressure. So it does. I'm not trying to sound entitled. I'm not saying that we should have won, but we should have had a go. I mean, we should have just had a go, and we didn't. We didn't pressure him, and we were just regressive. And look, it was a horrible way to lose a game. We almost shit-housed the draw, and that's what it would have been. Because we weren't trying to win that game. We were trying to get a draw. It almost worked, and it didn't. And yeah, a bit of a contentious goal with VAR. I don't even know if VAR was used on that. Some people are saying it was onside. Some people are saying it was offside. I don't know. But nonetheless, I don't think we really deserved anything from that game. But it still hurts, losing in that manner. It was horrible, which is why I held off doing a review earlier on because I was raging, but yeah, I think Moyes he's under. It's probably not fair, but he's under serious pressure now to go out, and he's got to go and make these signings. It's his job. It's not our problem for him to sort of come out and keep on saying how difficult it is for him to get players. That's his job. It's his job to identify players, establish whether they're feasible, go out and get the deals done. That's his job. Right, if it's taken him years to find players and sign them, and Gio put a tweet up on Twitter, funnily enough, earlier on, which sort of tickled me a little bit. He said, in relation to that comment, he said, if I need a pair of, if I move into a new house, he said, if I need a pair of curtains, but I can't find the curtains that I want, I'm not going to not have any curtains up in my house. He said, because I don't want everyone looking in. He said, so I'm just going to, I'll put a temporary pair of curtains up for now until I can get the ones that I really want. And it's a funny analogy, but it's the same sort of thing. And I just kind of, I can't let myself believe that he's not going to act in this last week because he's always active in this part of the window. But he's under pressure now, and our squad, for me, I think our squad's getting thinner. It feels like it's getting thinner. And with how he kind of drags his heels about making the right decision, we're losing, we're hemorrhaging more players than what we're bringing in. We've got players going out of contract in the summer. We're going to be losing a load of players in the summer, so the squad is automatically going to be thinner. I can't see David Moyes bringing in 5, 6, 7 players. It just doesn't seem like he's going to do that, because it's all about building slow and not disrupting the team harmony. So I almost feel like, by dragging your heels like this, you're going to have to all of a sudden, at some point, you're going to have to rebuild your team in a heartbeat, because we're going to have to, because we're not going to have enough players. But the most important thing at the moment is this season. There is an opportunity there. There is an opportunity for us to push on. There still is. I still believe that fourth spot is up for grabs, because everyone that's in that race, they're not. Arsenal, Tottenham, Man United, Wolves now. None of them are firing on all cylinders. They're not. They're all going to drop points, all of them. So, and we're definitely in a race for the top six. But if it can so easily go the other way, as we've found, when you're at the bottom of the table, you can lose a game or two. Nothing happens, because everyone around you loses. But typically at this end of the table, if you slip up, if you lose at home to Leeds and Southampton and Brentford, it's going to come back and bite you on the arse. So you can't keep on using excuses like, oh, we played like against Leeds, where he came out post-match and blamed the fact that we played midweek. He blamed it on fatigue, because we've got a thin squad, because we only play the same 11 players all the bloody time. They have to play every single game. Well, this week it was the other way around. Man United, they played on Wednesday and then they had to go and play on Saturday. They didn't look fatigued. They looked all right, and it was mostly the same team that played. So I think it's time to stop making excuses. You're onto a good thing. You've done a very good job, and you just, there's no more games now until the window closes. So I just hope that he gets the business done that he needs to get done. But like I say, it's not the end of the world. It's still not the end of the world. There is still time. So I feel a lot better now than what I did earlier on. Still disappointed, but and credit to all the West Ham fans that went down there today. That was amazing. That's all you could hear on telly was our boys. So yeah, look, we go again. We've got a couple of weeks off now. Hopefully an exciting week where we're going to be seeing some movement and some proper definitive movement in the transfer window, and hopefully we'll get some positive vibes around the club again to sort of pick us up for that home game. And then if we beat Watford, new players come in, we're fine. We're still on track, but the wheels can come off. So yeah, I just hope it goes how it needs to go. Anyway, that's me done. That's me signing off. Come on, you Irons.